If you could have all the benefits of Christianity but not have Christ, would you take that? Sadly, isn't that what so many Christians or people who say they're spiritual are truly seeking after? If not at the forefront of everything we do is to exalt Him and to seek Him, we've missed it all. You think about it, there are lots of religions out there. You go and you Google religion, and man, you are going to get page after page after page after page of all the different religions in the world. And so how do you choose which one you want to follow? And of course, the simple answer is the truth, right? You follow the one that is true. And so you seek the truth, but when you find the truth, what is it about that truth that draws you in? What is it that you are ultimately seeking? We all have needs and desires, and what part of that? We did a class this Wednesday on sharing your faith, and we talked about how the gospel meets basically every need humanity has. Our need for acceptance, our need for forgiveness, our need for purpose, our need for community, our need for security, our need for hope. The answer for all of those are found in the gospel of Jesus Christ. But let me ask this question. If you could achieve all of those things, the acceptance, the peace, the forgiveness, the community, if you could have all of those things, but not have God, would you take it? If you could have all the benefits of Christianity, but not have Christ, would you take that? No, I hope not, yeah. It's kind of like this. Imagine if your spouse came up to you and says, I will give you my name, I will give you the house, I'll give you the cars, I will give you the kids, you can even have the dogs, you can have the credit cards, you can have the bank accounts, you can have everything, but I'm out of here. You would think, well, no. I married you not for what you have, I married you for you. I want to be with you. And that's why what is so strange here is in Exodus chapter 33, verse 3. God says to Moses, go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, the promised land. But he says, but I will not go with you because you are a stiff-necked people and I might destroy you on the way. Now think about that. The whole purpose of the Exodus was for God to be with his people, for them to be together. God was in the midst of giving the plans of the tabernacle, the place where God will reside with his people, where God would dwell there. But now, because of this golden calf incident we looked at last week, God says, it's too dangerous. I may destroy you. I may kill you. And so God basically says, go to the promised land. But I'm not going there. You go on ahead. I'm not going with you. I mean, think in these first 3 verses of 33, what God is offering. He is basically saying, I will fulfill every promise I've had for you. I will give you the promised land. I will give you those blessings. I will fulfill everything I said to Abraham, and you can have all of that. But you can't have me. You can't have me. Now, sadly, isn't that what so many Christians or people who say they're spiritual are truly seeking after? They want everything that comes with Christianity, but they don't want to have to surrender to the God in their midst. They don't have to surrender to Christ, to his lordship. They don't want to have him at the throne of their life. Instead, they want to do whatever they want to do and just have him. So they want all the blessings without the relationship. And people are giddy about that. I mean, imagine if you offer that. Say, I'll give you everything that Christianity offers, but you don't have to surrender anything. People will say, sign me up. I was thinking about this, and what first thing came to my mind, and since college football is my mind, I'm thinking about college football all the time. Do y'all remember Coach Orgeron? Coach O from LSU, okay? He talked like this, he was Cajun. Coach O won a national championship at LSU, but then he had a bunch of terrible seasons. He had $17.1 million left on his contract, and they had to fire him. And when he gave a little thing, telling them about it, they said, Coach O, it's not working out. We're going to have to let you go, but you are going to get the rest of your contract. You're owed $17.1 million. We'll give that to you. You'd go away. And he said, wait a minute. And this is how he talks. You mean to tell me that you're going to give me $17 million just to go home and not do anything? Sign me up. And he was ecstatic. He said, I don't have to work. I can just go home. I don't have to have the responsibility of a football team and all this. Imagine that's kind of how I see how people would see about this. Give me everything that's great about Christianity, but don't have to have the surrender, the responsibility of having God with us. But why? And that's why I think the power of their response is so wonderful. Basically, the people start to cry and they mourn. And they say, if you won't go with us, we don't want to go. I don't want heaven without you. I don't want the promised land if the one who made the promise is not going with me. The whole point of all this was that you would be our God and we would be your people. And so what they were seeking was not the blessings that God brought. What they were seeking was God himself. They wanted that intimacy. They wanted that relationship. And I love that because, remember, they're scared to be in contact with God. They need Moses in between them. But even then, they're like, God, we can't go without you. We want you. And how beautiful that is. The psalmist writes in Psalm 73, verse 25, whom have I in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire but you. They were hungry for God. Don't you wish we could bottle that up? Someone said there's a difference between a churchgoer and someone who is thirsting after God. Someone who is seeking after God. Someone who comes, as Haliani said this morning, who comes to worship out of duty, out of responsibility, out of necessity, and those who come with a heart that says, I want to see you. I want to experience you. I want you here, God. I want you in my life. And that was Moses' desire. Look at verse 12. Moses said to the Lord, you have been telling me, lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor with me. If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways, so I may know you. He wants to know God and continue to find favor with you. Remember, this nation is your people. I love how Moses reminds God of that. And the Lord replied, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. My presence will go with you. Now think about how beautiful this is, because what happens here is that Moses says, that's great. I want you to go with me, but you said me. I want you to say us. I want you to go with us as your people. And so there's still another little argument that goes on there, because this wasn't simply about Moses. This was about Moses and the people of God. He says, Lord, these are your people. They're my people. They're your people. We're in this, and we want you because we want life. We want to know you. We want to experience. In fact, Jesus says that was eternal life. This is eternal life, to know you, the one true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. And I love this. Moses was a friend of God. And Moses talked to God this way, but Moses says, it's not enough for me to be your friend. It's us. Remember, Moses was the mediator between God and the people. And he says, I don't want you just to be okay with me. I want you with us. He was the mediator, and it worked. Look at verse 17. And the Lord said to Moses, I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you and know you by name. Isn't that beautiful? God said, I'm not going with you. Moses says, we can't do this. We will not go without you, because the whole purpose we're doing this is not for the land, not for the milk and honey, not for all those things. What will distinguish us as your people if we don't have you? We need you. As a church, let's stop right there. What is it that we seek as a church? Do we want to be known as the church that does this and does that, or has this and has that? That's all fine and dandy. But if we're not seeking Christ, if not at the forefront of everything we do is to exalt him and to seek him, we've missed it all. We want Christ. And so here's that first question. What do you ultimately seek with your faith? And the answer is God. We want Christ. So here's the second question. What aspect of God do you desire to see the most? If you say, show me God this, what would that be? Would it be, show me your power, show me your love, show me your mercy, show me your justice? I mean, this is where I think you see the boldness of God, of Moses, where Moses is talking to God. He's already got God to say, hey, come with us. And God's like, okay, Moses, you convinced me. But then Moses has the boldness to look at God and to say this in verse 18. Then Moses said, now show me your glory. I mean, think about the boldness of that. Show me your glory. He's basically saying, I want more. I want you to tabernacle with us. I want you here, but Lord, I want more than that. I want to know you deeper. I want to know your fullness. I want to see you. I want to see you in all of your glory. Now think about all that Moses had already seen. He was there when God appeared in the burning bush. He got to see the power of God when the plagues came on Egypt. He got to see the power of God when the Red Sea was parted and then crashed down. He got to talk to God. He got to be on the mountain to where it shook and it trembled. But after all of that, Moses says, I want more. I want more of you. Show me your glory. Show me your fullness. The relationship had deepened, and now he wanted to know God more. It's kind of like how the Apostle Paul, after all that he experienced with God, remember what his request was in the book of Philippians? I want to know Christ and the power of his resurrection. Sometimes we think as Christians that we get to a certain point and we've made it and we're content right there. And we say, no, don't be content. Keep seeking after God. Keep pursuing God. Keep digging deeper. Keep knowing him and serving. Keep going after him. He said, show me your glory. And think about that. That's such a powerful request. Your glory. Think about it. If he would have said, show me your love, I think we can relate to that because love is something we ask for because we want to feel it. I mean, if we are not feeling loved, we feel like something's wrong, right? And if we don't feel it, we don't know it. And so we don't really want to experience. We just say, show me your love because I'm not feeling it right now. Or if we say, Lord, show me your power, it's because there's something going on where we want that power. We know we're weak and we need his strength. Lord, show me your wisdom. I have a dilemma. I need some counseling. Help me, Lord, with this. But show me your glory. It's kind of by itself. Tim Keller spoke on this, and he says the thing that sets the glory apart, basically the glory sums up everything about God's being, but glory doesn't really have a lot of usefulness for us except in itself. So what he said it's kind of like beauty. That there are some things you want to see because it's useful to you, and there are other things you want to see just because it is so beautiful. And you just stand in awe in front of it. Moses wasn't saying, show me your glory so I can have this and have that. He was saying, let me see your fullness. Let me just stand before you and see how wonderful you are and to see how beautiful you are. Imagine if that was our heart, to where we just want to stand before God and not necessarily ask for something in return, but just to stand before God and say, how amazing you are. How beautiful you are. How awesome you are. You know what that's called? Worship. Where we just stand and say, God, show me your glory.